They laughed at you. Now they're embarrassed and afraid. They laughed at you. They mocked your dreams, your goals, your efforts. They sat back, whispered, and smirked, thinking you would never make it. They told people you were wasting your time. They made fun of your ambition. They doubted your every move. And now they're embarrassed. Now they're afraid. Because everything they laughed at is becoming reality. Everything they said you couldn't do, you're doing it. Every time they see your progress, every time they hear your name, every time they realize you didn't stop, didn't quit, didn't give up, it haunts them. Because now they have to face the truth. They weren't laughing because they thought you were weak. They weren't laughing because they thought you would fail. They were laughing because they feared you would succeed. And now that you have, these people, they don't know what to do with themselves. They never believed you would rise. See, some people laugh at you not because they think you're foolish, but because they can't imagine someone like you watching me, someone like you winning. They didn't want you to believe that you had potential. They didn't want you to believe that you were capable of greatness. They didn't want you to believe that you would go further than them. So instead of supporting you, they laughed. Instead of encouraging you, they mocked. Because in their minds, you weren't allowed to win. You weren't supposed to break free. You weren't supposed to prove them wrong. Dead wrong. You weren't supposed to make it to the other side. And yet, here you are. The advancing king or queen that you are. You're still standing, still growing, still advancing. And now, they don't know what to say. They're embarrassed because they were wrong. Some of them spoke so confidently. They swore you would never make it. They told others not to support you. They turned their backs when you needed them most. And now they look foolish. They spent so much time tearing you down, only to watch you rise higher than they ever expected. Now they sit in their shame, realizing that the same person they laughed at is the one who's winning. Now, they don't want to be reminded of the words they spoke. They're avoiding conversations where your name comes up. Now they're pretending that they never doubted you. But you remember. You remember how they treated you when you were struggling. You remember how they laughed when you were still building. You remember who clapped for you and who didn't. And you know what the truth is? They remember too. They're afraid because they know they can't sit with you now. Now that you're rising, now that you're shining, now that you're walking in your purpose, they feel the distance. They know they can just come back like nothing happened. They know they don't deserve a seat at your table. They know they underestimated you, and now they have to live with it. And that scares them because they see you becoming the person they never thought you could be. They see doors opening for you that they never expected. They see you winning without their approval, without their support, without needing anything from them. And that reality is shaking them to their core. Because they realize now they were never laughing at you. They were laughing at their own insecurities. They projected their own fears onto you. They tried to break you because they knew they could never do what you were doing. They mocked you because deep down they wish they had your courage. And now that same laughter has turned into silence. Let them sit in their shame. You have nothing to prove. You don't need their apology. You don't need their validation. You don't need them to admit they were wrong. Because their embarrassment, that's your confirmation. Their silence, that's your proof. They were hoping you would fail, but instead, guess what? You're thriving. They were hoping you would quit, but instead, you kept going. They were hoping they could control your narrative, but instead, you wrote your own story. And now they're the ones left speechless. Let them sit in it. Let them feel every ounce of regret. Let them watch you from a distance knowing they can't touch you anymore. Can't. Because the best way to respond to their laughter is with your success. So keep advancing. Keep proving yourself to yourself, not to them. Keep moving forward, because nothing is more powerful than showing them that their doubt had no effect on you. They laughed at you, but now they're embarrassed and afraid. And you're winning. They thought you would stay down, but you rose higher than ever. They thought their laughter would break you. They thought their words would stop you. They thought their doubt would plant seeds of fear in your mind, keeping you small, keeping you questioning yourself. But instead, you let it fuel you. You turned their mockery into motivation. You turned their rejection into redirection. You turned their disbelief into discipline. And now, every step you take forward is a reminder to them that their words held no weight. They thought they were keeping you in a box, but they only pushed you toward your breakthrough. They laughed at your struggle, but they never expected your strength. They laughed at your dreams, but they never expected you to achieve them. They laughed at your pain, but they never expected you to turn it into power. And now, as they watch you rise, they realize they were never laughing at you. They were laughing at a version of you that no longer exists. And now they can't even look you in the eye. Once upon a time, they had no problem talking about you, no problem whispering, no problem throwing shade behind your back. But now they fall silent when your name is mentioned, because now they can't ignore the reality in front of them. Now they can't pretend they didn't see you rise. Now they can't act like you didn't prove them wrong. So they look away. They avoid you. They avoid your success. Not because they don't see it, but because they do. They see it and they realize they could have been in your circle. They could have been celebrating with you. They could have been part of your journey. But instead, they chose to laugh like the clowns they are. And now, their regret is louder than any joke they ever made. They're afraid because they know they can't take it back. And what's the worst part for them? They can't undo what they said. They can't erase the way they treated you. They cannot go back and support you when it actually mattered. Because you, watching me here on this advancing channel, you remember. You remember how they made you feel. You remember the loneliness. You remember the pain of being doubted by the very people you thought would support you. And now, even if they wanted to make it right, they don't know how. Because what do you say to someone you mocked, only to watch them surpass every expectation? What do you say to them? What do you say to someone you dismissed, only to realize they were always destined for greatness? What do you say to someone you counted out, only to find out they were unstoppable? What do you say? What do you say? You say nothing. Nothing. And that's why they're silent now. You were never the joke. They were. They laughed because they thought they knew your story. They laughed because they thought they knew your limits. They laughed because they thought they had the final say. But now the joke is on them. Because you kept pushing forward the advancing man or woman that you are. You kept showing up. You kept building. You kept building even when nobody believed in you. And now, as they sit in their regret, wondering how they could have been so blind, you're too far ahead to even notice them anymore. They laughed at you. Now they're embarrassed and afraid. And you're thriving. As we hear on this advancing channel, keep walking in your power. Keep standing in your truth. And it's always an honor and a privilege to speak with the advancing king or queen that you are. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to reading your comments. Like the video, share the video, do all of those things they do on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. Let me know, how does this resonate with you? Thank you so much for watching. Big up to every single one of you. Love, light, and blessings. My name is Mantius. This is the advancing channel, as you already know. One love, God bless, and all the best.